winner takes all, right?
Highest grade between the two?
No, but what I am thinking is, so we have 50 minutes, right? The university has I know Tim finds a way around it, right? That he starts extra early or whatever, right? So, but we just have 50 minutes, just because I think.
Coaston runs it up to the full hour.
Okay, and I think Ander ruins it because you have something right after this. Is that right?
Right before and right after.
Yeah. So Anders, if you want to be mad at anybody, blame Andrew. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 50 minutes in class of conceptual questions, because that's all we can do for conceptual questions, right? I mean, that's all we can do for here, because all of it was like, you're not going to make a spreadsheet of stresses along the length and stuff. We don't have time for that. So it's going to be conceptual, which is like multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blank. Maybe an essay. So like
I don't think you want to read my hand.
I know, I don't. I do not want to do that. For the sake of both of us, we will probably not do an essay. Okay. And then I'm going to do a take-home portion. I'm going to give you a take-home portion, right? Where you will need to have a spreadsheet or do something like that, right? Or a MATLAB code or something like that. What's that?
Can you use your own spreadsheet?
Sure.
Can you work with people?
No, you're really pushing it here. But no.
Like, what level of work?
It'll be. I'll strongly worded. Do it by yourself, right?
In bold, in red.
In bold, in red. Do it by yourself. Don't talk to other people about it. Just I think that it'll work out well. Okay, and then it'll be on everything pre-stress related, right? Including maybe some questions from Kyle's crazy shit, right?
Oh no, like
Right.
everything or just that design?
Maybe the design guide, yeah. Just some little conceptual questions based off of just so that you were paying attention and just review stuff again. Because again, I'm aware that he threw a lot of shit at you, right? And right now, a lot of what he covered isn't going to mean shit to you until at some point somebody says, "Hey, you need to do this," and then you'll be like, "God, where's Kyle's shit?" Right? Because then you can spend some time going over it and going slowly through it and all this other stuff. Because what's interesting about it is where he started. The lectures that he gave the last 2 days, those are not intended for brand new people, right? Because it's like you're going to be deciding where the columns are in the overall building at this point. No, I don't think so, right? And so, but someday in the near future you might. And so that was targeted towards the Structural Engineers Association of Colorado, which has a bunch of practicing engineers that have been doing it for a long time, and then again just giving them a guideline to go through. I understand that, right? So, and again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you all of his stuff. And then you can just stash it away someplace in a secret spot. And even if in the future you've lost it, just come back to me and say, where are those things? And I can give them to you. And then just so you can know where to start during the design of I understand that. But that being said, you got to pay attention a little bit. So there'll be some little conceptual questions out of that design guide on how to do this thing. Okay. Wednesday, what I'm going to do for class on Wednesday is I will have graded all of your homeworks, and I'm going to go through the solutions to the homeworks. Because some of you guys are missing some stuff along the way, right? And so, we'll be quiet, dude. Right? And that's fine. And then I'll be part of the review is I'll kind of go through the notes, and I've got a little review sheet, or like a little review checklist thing to go over and what would be fair game in the exam. And I'll go over the solutions to the homeworks. Then I'll post the solutions to the homeworks afterwards, so you have those to study on your own, right?
How many note sheets do we get?
Okay, dog. One side.
One side.
One side, yo.
It's like 11 by 17.
Yeah. Handwritten, right? I've seen people, I always have to now, I literally put things in dynamics. I keep going, like, handwritten, in your own handwriting, right? Like, can it be handwritten on digital? Yes. What I don't want, this is what I've seen people do, is they take all of their semester's worth of notes and then they cram it into and then stack them going across and put everything in it. Like, let's not do that, right? That's just open notes. And the whole point of doing that is when you fill out that sheet, and you learn as you're filling out that sheet, right? You're determining which, and I really do stand by that. I think, at least it worked for me when I was a student, is when you're filling that thing out, you're learning like what's most important, what's not important, and you're putting some critical thought to it. So, okay.
You can't
Get your mind out of
Yeah,
it.
find out the gutter, Kyle. So I will think about it. I'll see I'll look back and see what I've done in the past. I'll see what I did in the past. Okay. In the meantime, we're gonna start bridges.
Yeah.
Okay. Finally. So I hate to do. I fucking hate to do. We're not gonna do a homework. We're not gonna do a homework on this stuff, right? It's just what do we have? What do we have? 3 weeks? 4 weeks? 3 weeks? 4 weeks? 4.
This week, next week, fall,
I don't know, I heard that
break,
price.
week after.
Week after 4 weeks, so we have 4 weeks. Okay, and then that last week, and there will be a final on this stuff. Okay, so even though we're not doing homeworks, there'll still be a conceptual final on like bridges, which is just again conceptual, true false, true fill in the blank and stuff like that. Usually that's a little bit easier. Usually you need that after what happens in the first exam. Okay, so historically that is a 100% true statement. Okay, and then bridges for the next 4 weeks. Also that last week, so that'll be during finals week. I think it's Wednesday of finals week, December 10th at 10 a.m. is when it is. And then again, just conceptual. We'll go in here for 2 hours. You have 2 hours to do it. What else did I say about it? Oh, and then that finals week, you will present your design, right, for your thing. Just so that you do it, right? And so like we'll have one of the days of that week will be a presentation of your beam, but which seems weird because like you haven't submitted it yet.
Can we do Wednesday simply because we have everything scheduled?
What schedule?
Steel pre-stress and steel solids in this class are all Wednesday at 8, 10, and 12. The finals.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, on that Wednesday? Yeah, I'm okay. I can take you.
Back to back to back.
Yeah. On finals week, during finals week?
Yes.
Oh yeah, we don't have to do that. Let's not do that.
I meant the presentation.
Oh yeah, presentation. But what's
Like, as a group, we scheduled it so like we're gonna have our drawings. We have all our calcs done the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and drawings started that Monday. So
What?
we have until Wednesday to
Yeah.
finalize.
Oh yeah,
everything.
that's fine.
But
Yeah,
as
that's
our
fine.
Group, we haven't scheduled.
Okay, but Wednesday or Friday that week we'll do the final Friday would work too, right?
Yeah.
The final presentations
Just not
where we would
Monday.
usually do our projects, but then in your case the project's going to be your beams and stuff, which is a little weird because like somebody you can learn from the other person, from the other team, and then you can change your design based off like maybe they thought of something you didn't, but maybe don't do that. So
Let's do that.
yeah. Which is the same as just copy
We'll take the second.
copying their right.
I've been sitting in the back of the computer. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Submitted all 3.
So then that's where we're
We'll take one of them.
that's where we're sitting right now, right? And then the idea would be we would then submit those final designs to the people, and then we would just maybe they could review them and see if they see anything, and then we'll cast them. Probably, I think we're the week before school starts. I think is if you're around. I understand some people are graduating, but you'll still want to kind of You'll be around and stuff, and then those that can make the trip to Missoula would be great, and if you can't, whatever. Then, but things that we learned about your beam designs, they can't be deeper than 25 inches, because in order to test them in our lab with the current setup, if they go over 25, we have to take the load cells off, and then
Yeah, well, we could raise up the frame.
you could raise the
We're
frame
probably
up.
gonna have to do that already because of the deflection, like to get.
Oh, how much it deflects in the middle?
Deflex,
Yeah.
High deflection in the middle.
Yeah. You have to calculate to see how much it does deflect. Because you have the width of the angle and then the roller. That's how much it can deflect. This is a lot, right?
Yeah.
That's
What, Kyle? Do you remember what that was? The height of the supports.
I think the top of the steel tube was like 6.5 to 7 inches.
so. I don't think you'll get that much. I don't think you'll get 6 inches of deflection. I think that it'll break before then. But just something to keep in mind. That is something because they're the way we put our testing frame in and where we set the beams and then stuff like that. Also, you have to keep it under 10,000 pounds, which is still a big beam to get that, right?
2x2.
A 2x2, 2 feet by 2 feet, but also that's not a good design.
2 by 2.
To make it, that's also not good design. Make it narrower.
Yeah. Some multiple of 20.
Yes, yes, yeah. And then I guess just as we're talking about the future, that same, when are you done with all of your exams? Wednesday. So then what we'll do, and this is historically that Wednesday night we'll do a Christmas party at my house, right, where you could bring your significant others and stuff. Which some of you've been to it before. It's pretty fun. Yeah.
I've heard we can do Thursday.
What's that?
Is it going to do Thursday? I think I have like business at like 6 p.m.
Ah.
It's a cakewalk.
Oh, that Wednesday you do?
That Thursday night.
So you'd want to Wednesday.
Huh?
You would want it Wednesday.
Well, he doesn't want to be up all night.
I don't want to be up all night.
But
We already have
but it's
steel and
business.
Wednesday.
Stealing this on Wednesday.
Yeah,
And then Thursday you have business fundamentals at what time?
like 6 p.m.
On Thursday?
Oh, that's plenty.
Oh yeah, you got all the day. You got all day Thursday to study for that.
Also, it's
Yeah.
We're good. Yeah, Wednesday work.
Yeah. Okay. I think that. So we'll aim for that Wednesday doing a Christmas party.
Austin's told me stories about Christmas.
They've toned down over the years.
Yeah.
Greg told me to show up with a keg again.
Yeah, so it's turned in. When I was younger, they did get out of hand sometimes.
So you say.
So we should bring it back.
Yeah, you could, I guess. I was just having this conversation with Tim. I think that as I get older and you guys stay the same age, it's becoming less. Like I'm ready for you to be gone by 9. When Tim was a student, we were all fucking hammered. We were sitting around. We drank every bit of alcohol in my entire house, including just straight brandy somehow. We were drinking shots of brandy, and Tim peed in the middle of my driveway, right? Like just all with designated. We had designated drivers. We were all good and stuff like that, but like. We haven't talked about anything yet, Neil, so you're good. You're good. You are 100% okay. We're just talking about Tim peeing in my driveway when he was a student. And I got a video of Tim arguing about something that's, maybe I'll share with you someday.
I think you should.
He was talking about this concept of jankum. Yeah, Montana butt hash is what it's called, and it's real. You can look it up, but it has to do with. It's in prison when you don't have like alcohol and stuff like that and you want to get high. They take their like urine and feces and they put it in like, so don't go to prison, by the way. and they put it in like a bag and let it ferment. And then let it ferment, and then they use that. They like drink that or something like that, and then that's how they get high and get like intoxicated and stuff. So Tim was telling us a story about Jacob, and he was claiming that Jacob was when you fart in a cup and then you put it upside down, and then you sniff and I was like, that's not. I need to show you these things so your thoughts of Tim go from here like down, like bring him down a little bit, just like he was. That's too. We're talking about a Christmas party, Neil. Yeah. They've tamed over the years. Some of you went to last year's. It was tamed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but I'm 21 now, so we'll see what we
Yeah,
do.
that's right. Also, Neve brought his dad to the party, which also who was an Israeli military, former Israeli military, and he really brought like the shenanigans under control. There was no shenanigans. I was terrified the whole time. That was gonna say. Anyway, so that's that. And then I guess while we're on the subject, usually also around this time of year, and then you absolutely don't have to do this, but I do a wood splitting party at my house, where people come and they split my wood for me, and we have some drinks and pizza and stuff like that if you want to do it.
Are we allowed to bring electric and gasoline wood splitters?
Absolutely. You have these? Yeah, I borrowed one from Tim's dad. Yeah. So I have a big pile of wood on the side of my house.
Not showing up if it's malls only.
About four cords of wood. We split it in like 2 hours. I think it's pretty fun. Yeah.
So I can charge that.
No. I provide pizza and drinks and stuff like that. And then usually we have one. Usually the way we've done it is I have one hydraulic log splitter and then 2 balls, and then we just go to town on all those things. And
We're probably doing 2 long splitters and 2 more balls, so we can really.
yeah, so are maybe interested? Interest, maybe. What's that?
Just got a log splitter in the mall.
You do, Thomas. Why do you have that?
I live with my parents.
Oh, you do. Your roommates. Your roommates have it. Don't say my parents. Say my roommates. That's how you.
I have a log splitter.
Yeah. My roommates have a log splitter.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Thomas and I are both borrowing our roommates' dogs.
Yeah, your roommates log splitters. That's right. That's right. So I was thinking possibly this Sunday.
I can't be here Sunday.
Why?
I got honey.
Oh, well, that's fine. You're out. Maybe Sunday, if there's interest.
I'm also hunting Sundays.
Oh, you are. When would you want to do it?
Not this weekend.
What about the next weekend? Then you're hunting that weekend too. So it never works for for you guys.
No, hunting season's over, I guess.
I gotta do it before then. I mean, is there interest in coming over? If not, I just get my other friends to do it. I get my adult friends. I trick them into coming. But if students want to do it, it's pretty fun. It's an iffy.
Yeah,
Sure.
But I just,
Does anybody have any opinions on a Friday evening?
I guess I could do that.
I mean, that's a beautiful Friday evening to me. Get everybody to come in and split my wood for me.
Especially if there's no chainsaws, we could bring alcohol and just see.
You could bring alcohol. You can bring alcohol.
What did the
It could be a
chainsaws
party.
Okay, if he has
Contain. Yeah.
24-foot chunks and we're gonna do 4.
I'm sorry that you rushed over here. It's just you rushed over. I saw you, man. You really holding on to that leg for dear life, man. It worked though, right? That was on 3rd down. It works, but you just fucking hold on to that thing. You would have gone down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all right. I watched these things. All right. We'll table that discussion. Maybe I'll send out a poll of some sort and say, would you be interested? Would you not? It's totally fine if you don't want to, right? I can't be making you go to my house and split my wood, but I think I usually have a pretty good time doing that. And then otherwise, I'll ask some real engineers to come over, some former students. There's some former students who are excited about it.
So Tim, he's just gonna use his.
Tim, Chris Van Lucian, Tom Kujawa, Aaron Hunt.
Try to get
100
Brock
triple.
out there.
Yeah, get those guys because they like to do it too. And then and they might come regardless anyway. I think it's pretty fun. All right, bridges. Right. Well, let's start. Let's finally and go. 22 minutes into class. Perfect. Bridges. So I believe I posted all these notes.
The completed ones, yeah.
I posted the
Yeah, we have to complete it. All.
not all the pages, just for a
Just
few.
the first page.
First page.
Oh,
Okay.
well, I haven't scrolled yet.
All right. Pages. All right. Yeah, sorry. Bridges. They are very important. I guess you already have these things. To transportation infrastructure. Right. They control system capacity. Right, which is an interesting way to think of it. I guess maybe I didn't really think about bridges too much before. You just drive over them and they're there. But they're obviously by far the most expensive part of a transportation infrastructure, right? Because you have to have a support underneath it. You're not just laying asphalt down on ground, right? like it does. And so they control the system capacity, right? They're most expensive, right? Failure of bridge. This is do failure. You've already filled all this stuff out, so that's all right. Right, and so I guess that's one thing to get out of this is bridges are they're very expensive. They're very important. They control our system, right? Oh gosh, it's weird when you already have it all and I don't have it. All right, history. Didn't Tim do that once? We accidentally posted all completed notes.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Or you did twice.
Twice.
Actually, twice. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because he posted them, and we all thought it
That was
just
actually
Kiro was
Kiro.
lecturing.
Since Kira's lecturing, I'm just gonna give you all the notes.
I was like, wow, no
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I know she's gonna mess this up. So, all right. So they start out doing design build. I mean, again, you already see these things, and actually they're coming back to that a little bit more, right? A lot of companies are doing this, right? Where they say, well, we'll take care of it, right? We're gonna do everything, right? So they go through. I know like Hewitt, right? If you go work at Hewitt, they do their own design and they do the construction afterwards. But it used to be just back in the day, it was all that way, and it was all proprietary methods. That just means like they had their in-house way of doing things, and they just do it. They continue to do that, and they wouldn't tell anybody about how they do it. There's a lot of proprietary stuff out there these days, right? And it was a little guess and check, right? Let's just see if it works. Right, which I think is incredibly weird to think about in today's standards, but that's kind of what it is, right? They would test by sending fully loaded across. I'm gonna say, here we're done. I think this will hold. How about we find out? Let's just send a vehicle across and see if it fails, right? Which seems pretty nuts, like to be the person that drives that thing across.
Well, didn't they just start it and then just?
They'd probably dive off. That would be the good idea. That would be the good. Sean, that would be the best idea to do it, right? Not actually. Yeah. You go, right?
Send the engineer over.
That's right. Send the engineer over, right? Which this is crazy, and I didn't believe it. I was like, I'd heard that a lot, and I saw it somewhere. But in 1870s, 1 out of 4 bridges failed. Right? That's not great. That's not a great statistic, right? Especially, right, if you're the driver of the test vehicle going across.
Was it like a complete failure, or was it like one span?
I don't know. I don't know.
Span failed?
I consulted ChatGPT about it a little bit, and it agreed that was a number that they did. And I didn't dive too deep into like what happened. But there it is. Look at some of the construction techniques. It started out mainly with the railroad industry in the United States, right? We just got like WTI, Western Transportation Institute, just got a huge grant through the railroad industry to try to start incorporating that into classes in some capacity. Because when have you heard railroad in any of your classes ever, right? And that's civil, right? Railroad engineering is civil engineering, right? That's part of civilization. It's important. So they just got a big grant to start incorporating it into things. This would be a place where we could. I had a student once when they did their projects. Their project was the rail, because they have their own code too. They're not governed by AASHTO. They're governed by their own railroad industry and stuff like that, and they have their own code to deal with all this stuff. But anyways, it started with that, and that's where, so you can see some of these early trestles. Some of those trestles are still out, right? If you ever do like these rails to trails, and you go over these old trestles, or they're just existing one. Look at this one. We're just gonna stack logs. I don't know if I would go over those things. All right, what else do I want to say? Actually, you should tell me what I was supposed to say because it's already filled up. This is the big one. This is a picture after this. I always say 1914. This is a big event. Oh, wait, no. Oh, sorry, 1876. I think I put it up here. Oh, look at this one's already filled out. I'll go with this one. We'll go with this one, right? Since you already have it filled out, one, I should go with this one, right? 1876. I called it Ash. I think I was pronouncing Ashtabula. But there's somebody from Ohio was in my class, and then they were telling me what it was really. It's like Ashtabula, Ashtubula. Anyways, beside the point, there was a big accident in Ohio, right? So there was, here's the description of it. The Lakeshore of Michigan Southern Railroad train number 5, the Pacific Express, left Erie, Pennsylvania on the afternoon of December 29th, 1876 in deep snow. 2 locomotives, Socrates and Columbia, were hauling 11 rail cars, including 2 express, 2 baggage cars, and 1 smoking car. 3 coaches and 3 sleeping cars carried 159 passengers. At 7:30 p.m., the train was crossing over the Ashtabula River, about 1,000 feet from the railroad station in there, when the bridge gave way underneath, and the lead engine made it across, and everything else fell into the 1,000 feet down into the, or not, I don't know how far down it was, but quite a ways down, and then there was a big giant, and then it started on fire afterwards. And so then after that, they were like, you know what? maybe we should pay a little more closer attention to what's happening. So that kind of set off this, it kind of set off it looks like 92 people died, so 64 survived. And it set off this, like, we should probably do something about it. So then in 1914, I mean, it takes a very long time, right? Another 40 years. And they started like, maybe we should come up with some design codes and stuff like that. And then 1914, ASHO was formed, American Association of State Highway Officials. That was the first, what it was called. And then 1963, 50 years later, they added a T, so for added transportation to it. So it's American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials that's what ASHTO stands for. Great test question, by the way. What does ASHTO stand for, right? That's always a good one. That's a lot of words.
I think that was on my transportation.
Word-
Was it really?
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah. It says, what does ASHTO stand for?
I didn't get it either.
I see why that.
Anybody in transportation this semester? No. Because she laughed, right? Lindsay laughed,
Yeah,
which is
that
unfortunate.
sucks.
Yeah. Which I heard she did really good. And then some one of the construction professors is teaching it. So I was just wondering how it was going.
That could be entertaining.
It might be entertaining, just make it.
It's not Penny, is it?
No, it's Phil. Did anybody take a class with Phil? He was a new hire. I just picture myself trying to teach a transportation class. I mean, it'll be kind of like me teaching masonry next semester.
It could be entertaining as heck.
The first half, I got the first half down. It is just about it's just building systems and loads and things like that. I got that. The second half, where we have to do masonry, is I've heard that it's just very archaic, right? Because it's you just take these like square rock things and stack them on top of each other, and then you just try to do a design based off of that, and then like, anybody designed masonry before?
With a program.
With the program, you just plug in the stuff. Is that right?
Single wall in Intercal.
Yeah, just L over 600 for your deflection limits.
And then and then went with that. Yeah. Maybe you
By
guys
design, you mean putting the standard detail in Intercal, making sure it works.
make sure it works. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, 1921, first bridge code was released. 1931, they switched over to allowable stress design. 6 years later, they went to LRFD, load resistance factor design. So that's the current thing. So today's code is not the 9th edition. Today's code is the 10th edition. And there is no interim provisions at this point because they just came out with them last December. Okay. And so I remember one of the first things I think I've mentioned this before. I was in the real world for 1 year. 1 year. I got undergrad, and then I went to work at Morrison Merrily for 1 year. And in that 1 year, we were doing some bridge stuff. And then and if you have a printout of the code, so I just looked it up. Today's code, this is 2025. The 2025 code is 1,905 pages long, right? So this is massive, right? If it's printed out. Do you guys have it printed out, Hunter, at your work? Or do you have it on PDF?
PDF.
Yeah, PDF. I think that's the way it'll do it now. Like,
Did you
call
Did
call
you-
him Hunter?
I did. That's what I said. That's what I fucking said. Right? Then quit it. I got it recorded. I'll go back and look at it.
Do it.
I apologize.
I don't care.
I apologize, Hunter. Right? So it used to be that it was printed out, right? Maybe you see it and it's like this massive binder, and in some cases, multiple binders that you have. And then every few years, they'll come out with an interim provision. They'll be like, oh, well, we don't want that anymore. We need to add this interim provision. And so one time, it took me like a week. is they gave me the interim provisions, maybe not a week, that's probably long, and you had to go open up the thing and you had to go through and you had to find the pages that needed to be replaced. It's like, oh, page 200 to 210 need to be replaced. You pull those ones out and put the new ones in, and then you go to the next one and you're week maybe. I was really slow. It took forever. And I had to do it for like a bunch of different versions. Now that they have PDFs of it, I'm assuming that process is a lot easier. The one thing to point out is it also, this is on the bookstore this morning, is $893. Right? It's $893. We'll talk. So what we're going to start doing in the coming weeks is looking into this, and we're going to see why it's 1,905 pages and $193 because it is everything. It has all of the stuff. It has ASCE 7. It has IBC. I mean, it doesn't actually have them. It has equivalent. So like where your loads come from, right? That's the ASCE 7 part of stuff and the IBC part. And then they have steel design, concrete design, timber design, aluminum design. Like all of those codes are crammed into AASHTO. That's why it ends up being so big, right? And we'll look at it's. I think the table of contents is 100 pages long, right? And so just I don't know. Maybe that's. We'll see how long. It's very long, the table of contents, right? Because it has to go through all of those things, right? Let me go back to this one. This is my fill down note. 10th edition, right? So it's 19. It looks like it shrunk a little bit, right? 8th edition was 2,150 pages long, right? But it is very expensive. I talked to Chat about the history. You don't have this, but you could talk to Chat too if you want. Okay. One thing that's worth discussing. You didn't fill it. This isn't filled out on yours? Okay. This is.
It looks the same as.
Oh, goddamn. I'm going to give you all the fill. I give you a bunch of them. Then it stops at some point, I think, right?
Yeah, I think the third page.
Yeah.
Third page it stops.
What governs there.
Now, I want you to draw your own pictures.
Yours are so nice.
Damn it. Well, there's my pictures of it, right? So the types of bridges that we see, right? Structures below the deck. Well, this is just boring. You guys don't get to draw your own. You just have to look at mine. If you want, you could draw yours to the side. Some people are really good artists. Do you ever see it in the grading homeworks in Dynamics?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I think they spend like hours.
Hours, way more time than they should be on doing the drawings. Like they shade things and they have different colors sometimes. And it's just like,
Yeah, and then it's outrageous.
yeah, it's outrageous.
So this should be an architecture.
We spend 5 minutes on the problem.
Yeah. And then they say, yeah. So, structures below the deck, right? This is your typical arch bridge, right? Right, arch right here like this, or they have just like a truss, an underhung truss underneath the thing, right? Structures above the deck, trusses above, right? Suspension bridges. What's this one called?
Cable stay.
It's a cable stay. It's a cable stay. Those are kind of neat. They have one of these. This is in the Tri-Cities, Washington.
I got rear-ended on that bridge.
On that one in Tri-Cities? You did?
Tri-Cities.
Yeah.
By a guy from Kalispell.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had a Montana ID.
You just stop and then he...
The guy in front of me slammed on his brakes. I slammed on my brakes.
And then you got
in a
hit.
Dish Company van.
Oh, really? Okay.
Sued?
No, nothing happened to my truck. His car got damaged.
Well, maybe that's a good test question. What happened to Kyle on the...
So I drove from Kalispell to Tri-Cities and got rear-ended by a driver from Kalispell.
From Kalispell, yeah. So these are cool. These are really cool. These are my favorite. The suspension bridges. It's pretty cool what kind of spans we can look across there, right? The longest one is a little over a mile in between the thing. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that freaking crazy? You could build a span. Like, I can't run. I couldn't run across it. I would have to stop part way and just be like, oh, God. And then that's a clear span. That's a clear span. It is nuts what we could do. This is nuts, right? And then these guys are just boring. Structure at the deck, right? And these are what we see most of the time these days, right? Is these girders. I don't know what TS means. What's that? Well, I know. I don't know what I meant by that 2 years ago when I filled out these notes. Maybe PS? Pre-stress? Maybe that's what I meant. Because that would make sense here, right? Box girders. They're most usually cheaper, faster, easier to maintain. They're lame, right? They absolutely are. But then they're the least efficient structurally, right? The reason they're least efficient structurally is because they carry the loads with bending, right? This thing will bend, right? As the load goes across, right? This thing will deflect down, right? And so it carries it bending, and which is not as efficient. If you look at these other ones up here, how are they carrying the load? Axially. All of those members are loaded axially, right? Including this member that's doing this, right? That arch underneath. That's axially loaded, right? These are all axially loaded. And members are very efficient carrying things axially, but less efficient when they're carrying stuff through bending. But these are really cheap, right? They're cheap and they can just throw them into place, right? I think I just mentioned that they have, this is that what the Axtell Bridge currently looks like, a beautiful old truss, and then what they're putting in is girders. And it's gonna be lame, but it's gonna be easier to use, right? Right now, this is a single lane going across. This, right, is gonna have multiple lanes and you won't even know it's there. But that's unfortunate because that's historic. Interesting story. These are historic and literally are designated as being historic. And so you can't just like get rid of them. You can't just like throw them away. So they have to try to do something with them. And so there used to be this big one that when my mom grew up in Craig, Montana, there's a bit of Craig, right in the Missouri River, fishing right there. There used to be a big old truss bridge going across the Missouri River right there. And then my mom grew up in Craig and she used to climb up on top of it and then like they would get eggs and stuff out of these nests that were up there and they would come down and they put them in bunny cages and pretend that like the Easter bunny. They used to pretend the Easter bunny. Anyways. Yeah. And what's crazy, yeah, right, that's right. And what's crazy about it is my mom would do that. She'd climb up to the top of that and it was right above the Missouri River and she didn't know how to swim. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Cool story, huh? But the point of all of this is that they moved it, right? They got rid of it, and then and they have girder bridges going across. But since it was historic, they held on to it. And if you're ever driving from Helena over to Missoula and you're going over McDonald Pass, if you look over the side, there's a big truss bridge just sitting in a field, and it was somebody's like, I'll take it because it's historic, and then it just sits in the field, just sitting there. Cool story, huh? Totally worth your time today. Okay, structures at the deck, and then there's floating bridges. I added this category. It was never a category before. But these are floating bridges. There's not very many of them in the world. Where did we see these recently? James? What's that? Seattle. Yeah, that's right. That's
light rail test across.
Yeah, but that was James. James gave a talk of this. Yeah, so there's two of them, or there's 3 of them in Seattle. Right, and this is the I-90 bridge. It's either 520 or the I-90, right? And so they just floating across. And the reason they're very limited is because the body of water that they're crossing cannot be too sensitive to tides. And so that's why you don't see it like they don't use it instead of the Golden Gate. Right, they don't go down and then have a floating bridge go across because that's lots of tidal movement stuff. And so these cross lakes. What's that?
It's also a harbor in there, isn't it?
It is a harbor. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Big boats need to go through there. So these cross Lake Washington. These cross Lake Washington in Seattle. All right, and they give a little bit of room. See, this is where the boats are going over on the end here. They go above there. But you're right, the big giant harbor out there.
These would be about as good as Buffalo Bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, just go right over them, right? Which is pretty cool. But I have some YouTubes. Finally, I have some YouTubes for you.
It's not even Friday.
It's not even Friday. We don't do them very much here. This is the I-90 bridge. This is, I think, in the 90s. One of them sank.
That first half was abysmal.
Damn it, I'll skip.
You know what abysmal?
When news happens, you'll see it happen on King 5 News. Live from Seattle, this is a King 5 News special report on the Thanksgiving flood and the collapse of the old I-90 bridge.
Good evening, everyone. Our top story tonight, the collapse of that old Interstate 90 bridge. We'll look at...
Keneshita was on the bridge when it started sinking. He tells me he thought he was going down. 3 others on the bridge scrambled to safety too. None of them were hurt. When the bridge went down, it damaged the cables holding the new bridge in place. And that is why it was shut down and stays shut down tonight. And you can imagine it has already created traffic nightmares. Later in the afternoon, the bridge shrugged once more, sending another section to the bottom of the lake.
They just made a big box girders. Big box girders that were waterproof, and so then that's where they get their buoyancy from. They get their buoyancy from just like a big hollow section, right? And then they were obviously buoyant. And then somebody left a hatch open, and it was like a really bad weather or something like that, and so it flooded one of those hatches, and they kind of spread, and then started sinking, and they started dragging the other stuff down, and then obviously not a good thing. So they redid those bridges a few years ago, and one of our former students, one of the he helped with Structures 2 a bunch. He was a bitch like Kyle's a bitch, where he just does you work for you. This guy named Josh, and he went on and he worked for Hewitt, and they did the design build on it. And what was really crazy is it was the 520 bridge, which is just north of the I-90 bridge. But when they replaced it, to spread it was a very big infrastructure, and it cost a lot of money. And then to try to help the community of Aberdeen, Washington, which is out on the coast, they built them over there, and then they shipped them up and around like the Strait of Juan de Fuca, and then came back down, and then they had to go through the Ballard Locks. I don't know if they had to come through the Ballard Locks and then into the lake, and then they placed them in the lake. And so there's some really cool videos of these big bridge sections going through the Ballard Locks. And what the locks are is they keep the fresh water separate from the seawater, and you gotta go in, and then they let the stuff, and then they bring it over, and so it just keeps them separate at all times, because they've kind of naturally they do separate through like the delta and everything, but they got rid of all that delta and everything, so they want to keep them separate. And then, anyways, one of the design constraints on these bridge sections was they had to fit into the Ballard Locks, and they had to play snare drum as it went through. They just built out on the coast, went up and around into the Puget Sound, and then down into the Ballard Locks. Yes, I don't know if I've ever actually watched this. Yeah, it did smash the sides. This is all post-tensioned. You might actually be, it's post-tension in both directions. Longitudinally and transversely, like vertically and transversely, to kind of just hold it all together and make it watertight. Oh my God. I see, there it is, it's rising, right? It went in at the low point, and then it rises up to like the fresh water, and then leaves in the fresh water. Okay, that was not. Maybe they were there. They had to be live. They were live doing it. So now it's passing into the lake, and then it got put into place.
When was that?
That was just a few years ago. That was in 9 years ago.
Oh, 9 years.
Yeah. Well, that's just a few. When you're as old as I am, that's just a few now. Look at the bridge. More on the overall project, just to show you.
What do you picture when you hear the words floating
On
bridge?
what? Floating
Perhaps
bridges.
some ad hoc structure quickly thrown together for temporary use? Did any of you imagine a 7,708-foot-long behemoth supporting 6 lanes of traffic and a 14-foot-wide pedestrian and bike trail, all floating on more than 1.1 billion pounds of concrete and ballast? This is not your father's floating bridge. One of the most ambitious floating bridge and
It's an
landing...
interesting thing. Side note, Bill Gates lives right on Lake Washington right here. Isn't that kind of like neat? Like this? Any place you live anywhere in the world, one of the richest guys in the world lives on Lake Washington, right near this 5-way bridge. You can
projects
I
of
was
its
just gonna
kind
point
and
at it. Like,
scale and
that's really
scope, the new SR 520 floating bridge connects Seattle with the neighboring cities on the east side of Lake Washington and is built to support up to 150,000 vehicles a day. What's under the hood? 77 concrete pontoons, the biggest of which are 11,000 tons and longer than a football field, keep this massive structure afloat, while 58 anchors, some weighing more than 400 tons, and tethered to the pontoons with 3-inch thick steel cables, allow the bridge to bear hurricane-force winds and pounding waves. Setting the bar exceedingly high for engineering and construction innovation, sustainability, and delivery, the project had to overcome some daunting obstacles. While constructing a 116-foot wide bridge that's more than 1.5 miles long is challenging enough, consider the Herculean task of building one that floats on water. The topography of Lake Washington, which is 200 feet deep, with another 200 feet of soft, foamy soil beneath the lake floor, together with environmental and visual impacts, made constructing a traditional suspension bridge out of the question. Further complicating matters was the lack of a viable location for building the pontoons on Lake Washington. So they were built at saltwater casting basins, one along the Pacific coast, the other in South Puget Sound, and towed by tugs in phases to Seattle. With the pontoons fastened together with high-strength bolts up to 20 feet long, the bridge was completed with 2,100 feet of high-rise superstructure and a mile-long low-rise segment topped with 10-foot-tall columns and 776 precast roadway deck panels, poised to serve the Seattle area communities for generations to come.
So, by the way, I have no idea how they designed that. I don't think floating bridges are covered by AASHTO, right? I think it's very specific. So then at that point, I think the whole thing's just engineering judgment and just buoyancy, and you're going back to that realm. Oh yeah, it's 10:50. Yeah. So that's the floating bridges, okay. And then what we'll talk about next time is like where do you see these things, like on what circumstances you'll have, and then we'll start diving into AASHTO. I also want to show you some stuff about the Brooklyn Bridge, which is crazy. Spent a little bit of time talking about the Brooklyn Bridge. Just it's a fun historic